It's the Doscinco Project.
Money pouring in, clientele growing down.
With your host, Doscinco.
Let's go!
What up, everybody? You are now tuned in to the Doscinco Project, where we talk about business, entertainment, motivation, and mindset. I have some very special guests with us in the building today. They are the host of the Basic and Boujie podcast, a podcast where two regular girls from Philly talk about topics ranging from health and wellness to relationships and business. One was a dedicated corporate warrior, is what I like to call her, who decided to strike it out on her own as an entrepreneur and co-founded the Glam Studios body sculpting company. The other has worked in the healthcare field as a registered nurse, while also side hustling as the founder of Mella's Nation, a custom apparel and event decor business. The first is a little reserved, quiet, and basic, while the other, you need to schedule an appointment just to visit her in her gated community, Boujie. Everybody, please welcome Basic and Boujie. How y'all doing?
Thank you.
Oh my God, I'm like,
good?
is that me?
Listen.
That was me?
Can I get a copy of that?
I need to know how to introduce myself.
Listen, man,
I am a former corporate warrior.
corporate
warrior, honey.
You know, let me tell you, you was real dedicated. I've seen you in action. Real dedicated.
That is
You're the
correct.
kind of employee people want,
That's
people
it.
need.
Yes.
So what I wanted to do was, obviously you guys have a podcast out that you've been working on for about a year, right? It's been about a year?
Three.
It'll
3
be
years?
Going on 3 years this
Oh,
year.
wow.
This year
Oh,
will
since
make
the
3.
pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. So you have this podcast. For those that don't know, tell me a little bit about the podcast as far as what, overall how it came about.
Yeah.
You want to go?
Sure.
Go ahead. You can.
So the funny story about it was me and Melanie knowing each other for years. Like her sister is one of my
whole
best
life,
friends.
I feel like.
And one day during the pandemic, she just put up a post about would she do a podcast, like would anyone listen? And I messaged her right away. I was like, do you want a Basic co-host? And she was like, absolutely. So it was just like fire from there. We just did our research, bought the equipment, picked a day, picked topics, picked a name, and like it's been
making it.
flowing
Just
ever
flowed,
since.
yeah.
So, but what made you, especially you, Basic, right?
Yeah,
What made you
certainly.
go out and just be like, listen, like, I want to be a co-host? Because that, to me, especially knowing you personally,
Yeah.
that was never, you were always behind the scenes
Yep.
with things.
Yep.
What made you want to step out into the limelight?
This is gonna be so cliche. The pandemic
Yeah.
changed my life. Like I think a lot of people can say that. It changed my life from I'm quiet, reserved, I'm behind the scenes, I don't want no attention to I have a story. I have a voice. I have things to say that I know that there's more people like me. So just because we got labeled quiet, shy, observant early on, I don't think that defines you for the rest of your life. So that was it. Like the pandemic made me step out of my comfort zone in so many things.
Okay.
And the podcast, I think, just put it right in the forefront, like giving more of a space to tell my story and to talk to more people and to tell their story too.
I love it. Mel, you're in nursing, right? And obviously during the pandemic, there was a lot of craziness going on because y'all were the heroes. Y'all still are the heroes, right? But what made you say, you know what, I want to go out on my own and just do my own thing?
I was always like doing my own thing. So even before all of this, I had my own little like fake show on Snapchat, and I would call it Car Chronicles, and I would record myself just talking about my day at work or just talking about anything on Snapchat while I was driving, and it was just like I would just talk about it, and it started to grow. I went like a week or so without posting, and people were like, "What's going on? Like, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, y'all want to know what I'm talking about?
I gotta
okay.
follow one.
Right." I was like, "Okay." So it just kind of happened organically, and then I'm just like, I'm naturally just a talker. I talk to everybody. Everybody talks to me. People tell me they life secrets, and I'm just always listening, always talking. So it just felt like I needed an outlet outside of all the other stuff that I do that's work related. I'm like, this is like for me, for us.
Absolutely. So what advice can you give, right? Okay, so you have individuals that want to start a podcast. They feel like it's overly saturated now. The views are not coming in the way they're supposed to. I know I experienced some of that. The only videos that I feel do astronomical numbers is the ones obviously attached to certain celebrities or certain people with names. But overall, how do you keep that consistency? How do you continue to put out content without just letting it die, so to speak?
I think we love what we do because, like we said, it's been 3 years. There's some videos on our podcast on YouTube that has 20, 30 views that's been up there for over a year. And then there's others that's 2,000, 3,000 views because that was a popular topic. But that never really made us feel like, oh, we shouldn't do this anymore. Because we're not really doing it for the views. We're really doing it to get stuff off our chest, meet other people, meet like-minded people. Like, I feel like we've developed our own, like, networking thing with this as well because we're getting to know other people. So we don't do it for the views. Like, it's nice to have, don't get me wrong, watch. But that's not what we do it for. Yeah. And it's really turned into, like, y'all know, social media is a popularity contest. So
absolutely.
If I interview the right person, that one could go crazy, but that doesn't mean every single one after that's going to do that. So if you're going to do it because you love it and there's a reason behind it, not because it's the wave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, basic, what's the ultimate goal for the podcast?
What is the ultimate goal?
Yeah, some money.
Well,
we
we
would
want
love to get
monetized. Done. So
Done, monetized.
I think we have like guests that we'd like to interview, like high-reaching. Like, why not us? Like, why not? Why couldn't we interview Cardi or Bad Bunny or somebody that we've looked up to or like thought is interesting, whatever? But I think obviously monetization. You want to get paid for doing what you love. It makes it a lot easier to do and not feel like this struggle. But I think like letting people know that just because you're some girl from North Philly, grew up in the hood, we all have a story, and it doesn't always have to be bad. You don't have to be a stereotype. Like, we can show people like you can do things that you weren't trained to do. Figure it out. Do it before you're ready. I think the consistency is key. Keep doing what you love, and I think everything will come. But like Mel says, if you do it for the fame and the notoriety, like, it's not happening. Yeah, no, you're in it for the wrong reason.
Totally agree. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that, right? The chapter that we're currently in is no longer that chapter where we're in North Philly and we're in the trenches and we have to worry about our lives, so to speak, or being products of that, right? We're technically all success stories. Like, just think about that, right? Y'all not baby moms to multiple guys. That's huge.
Say that again. Say a little loud for the people in the back.
I'm going to say it one more again. Okay? Y'all not baby moms to multiple guys.
No.
Y'all not strung out on whatever dope or whatever's out there right now. And y'all not giving up the yams like it was Thanksgiving every day.
Nope.
I'm not shot and I'm not dead. I'm not in jail.
We real good.
We really good. We really good. You hear me? And that's that right there just shows that it's possible. Our podcast, what we're able to do, what we, as far as sharing our stories, because we all have stories. How many of us have heard gunshots in our neighborhood? Raise your hand. Right? Have you ever been shot at? Or in the crossfire of being shot? In
a crowded type of situation,
yes.
Okay.
I think we've all run from gunfire. Like that, the fact that that's so normal for us.
You did it.
Right.
I did it.
Like, remember that one time? Like,
it's crazy.
Gunfire.
Y'all ever had a situation where somebody in front of you was being like violently abused or something? Like that was just normal, like in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
right?
you mind your business.
Yeah, but okay, so let's talk about your gated community now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so you went from you in Beverly Hills now. Let's talk about that.
I love.
What made you want to go into into that new lifestyle? Well, first of all, who exposed you to it? Because all you knew was North Philly, right?
Correct. Yes and no. So born in New York, raised in North Philly, but my family's from Dominican Republic. Every summer we went out there. So I got to see there's another world outside of North Philly. Like while all my friends were, ripping and running, going to the park, doing this, doing that, whatever people do in the summer in Philly, because I really don't know.
Right.
I was in Dominican Republic, like in clear blue waters, white sand beach. And then people were like, oh, let's go to Jersey. Like, in that water? So I feel like the name Boujie started a very long time ago.
Got you.
Not because I was bougie then, I was broke then, but I was just exposed to like a different life. So I knew that there was more out there. And as far back as I can remember, I was always just like, I'm not trying to be a product of this neighborhood. I don't want to be them. I have to be different.
Right. Basic. With regards to being raised in North Philly and then joining the Boy Scouts, how the heck that happened?
I don't know.
Right.
How the heck? Because them uniforms scared me in the very beginning.
The park ranger uniforms?
That's the reason why it took me a while to jump on board.
Yeah. I just applied to something that had no company information. Like this was like when monster.com was like the only
gosh, are they
way.
still around?
Yeah, I don't even know if they're around. They were like really the only way to get a job unless you knew people.
Okay.
And I got a call and they were like, well, we'll tell you now it's for the Boy Scouts. And I'm like, shit, and it was for their outreach program for like city urban youth. And I'm like, well, at that point I was like, I need a full-time job. I can't keep working this part-time.
Right.
Yeah. And then I was like, in that time, like the only Latina that was like a professional, like wasn't an administrative staff or a volunteer. So that was definitely different because I had no Boy Scout experience, obviously. I had no Girl Scout experience. I had no like sport, nothing except I had a degree and I made an impression and said yes.
What did that do for you as far as, you know, I guess, you know, because I look at us like, you know, we're in a life of, you know, elevating, constantly elevating. Did you feel like that organization kind of elevated you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In what ways?
There was training. I was being exposed to people that were like, we didn't volunteer in my neighborhood. Right. You just didn't hear that. You saw people coming from outside of your neighborhood and volunteering in your neighborhood, but we weren't, at least, you know, immediate family, we weren't doing that. So to be exposed to mostly Caucasian, middle, upper class, doing this for love of this organization, and then meeting people from everywhere, because it wasn't that we were all from Philly working in Philly. We were from New York, Baltimore, Boston, everywhere working in Philly. So it definitely exposed me to different people, different cultures, a corporate organization. So you think of the Boy Scouts as this like camping thing, but there is like a corporate hierarchy. There was trainings that you get flown out to.
Sometimes like a cult.
That's the only time I've been flown out.
Oh, got flew out.
I got flew out. That's the term?
Yes.
Flued out.
I got flew out.
She's saying it the proper way. I
Yeah,
got flown.
I was flown. So that's the only time, because we were doing these trainings, and then I feel like that introduced me to be able to then transition into more of a corporate, you know, where you're not like nonprofit and depending on volunteers.
So it gave you the structure, the discipline, all of that good stuff in order to take it to the next level. Now, Boujie, right? Pandemic. So you were a registered nurse for how long?
I finished nursing school, was that 2015.
Okay, so you were a registered nurse since 2015. What made you decide to say, you know what, hospitals ain't really it for me? I want to try traveling nurse, and then I want to try what I'm currently doing now, which are like the drips and things of that sort. Describe those elevate. Well, first of all, what made you want to get into registered nurse? And are you the only person with a degree in your family?
I'm not the only person in a degree with my family. I'm the first nurse, and then my cousin is the second nurse immediately after. But what made me want to be a nurse was my grandmother. I was, of course, Spanish-speaking grandma, have to go to the hospital, have to go to doctor's appointments, 7-year-old translator, that'd be me or one of my cousins or my sister, whatever. And I just saw the need, and her hospital at the time was Temple on Broad Street, and they always loved her, but nobody spoke the language. So I just saw a lot of like disconnect. Like you're not hearing her story because you don't understand her, and then you have these like proper translators that it's not really translating the language appropriately. So it's just like, there has to be something else. Like, people need to see people that look like us.
Right.
And it just kind of folded that way. Now, originally, I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be no nurse, especially because my mom told me I was going to be a nurse. And because I'm hard-headed, I was like, nah, I'm not going to listen to you. So eventually, I just ended up going to nursing school. And at the time, I was working in the ER as a unit clerk, as a registrar, then a unit clerk. And I was like, I like this. Like, I like what y'all do. I asked tons of questions. One of the doctors like, you always putting stuff together. You ask a lot of questions. Why don't you go to nursing school?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay. So I started doing the research, looking it up. I was like, but I only do ER. Like, I knew I didn't want to do anything else. I knew I needed the rush, the adrenaline.
So ER out of all places?
That was.
See, I think I would want to just, let me bring you your lunch.
No. Oh my God. I would cry.
Like,
no.
You got, I'm pretty sure you saw some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah. And I worked at Frankfurt.
ER.
Frankfurt ER.
That's like the trenches of the trenches. Like, you got that, and then you got Temple.
Right.
Okay, so Please describe some, give me some experiences of what that trauma, whatever, the ER, what that does to you.
I mean, it changes you. It does.
Okay.
There are things that I'll never unsee. There are sounds that I'll never unhear. Especially being at Frankfurt, it is an emergency room, but it's not a trauma unit. But that doesn't mean that because somebody got shot across the street, they're not coming to us.
Got you.
They do come to us because we're the closest hospital. We stabilize them and then we send them out.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've put my hand over somebody's chest because their heart is bleeding, their heart is pumping, and that blood is coming out that bullet hole that they just got shot. Like I've done some things. Like I've seen some things, and it got to a point where I was like, I used to always get a compliment when I would go into my patient's room, like, "Oh my God, you must be a new nurse because you're always so happy." And that was like 3 years in, and I still do genuinely love the job.
Right.
But the politics of the hospital got in the way, and I was just like, okay, you want me to advocate for my patient, but you don't give me the time to.
Yeah.
And on the hospital, it's all about numbers, in and out, how fast do they get there, how fast can you admit them or discharge them. Like, so we got administration coming down our back, and then you get patients that are like, "Oh, you just trying to rush me out of here. You just want my money." So it just became a battle of like politics and bullshit.
So it's kind of like bring them in,
right?
distribute them out, collect the
Healthcare
money.
is very much a business, and I knew that, but I didn't know how much it was going to affect me because I'm like, no, I'm here for the people. Like I'm here because I want to be an advocate for my patient, and you're not allowing me to do that in the capacity that I want to do it.
Okay.
So we started getting travelers, and I knew I always wanted to travel, but we started getting more travelers around that time, and I asked them, I was like, let me like get in your business without getting too much in your business. How much are you making? And they told me how much they were making. I was like, oh, well, shit, I'm out of here. It was
Time
very
for me
simple.
to pack it up.
I gave 2 weeks notice. They were pissed because I had already put like 9 years into the hospital. And I was like, man, if y'all want to fire me, y'all wouldn't give me 2 weeks. So you're going to take this 2 weeks notice and I'm out. And the first place I went to was Atlanta. I packed up my Jeep and drove straight to Atlanta.
Out of all places?
I needed to go somewhere where I wanted to like push myself out of my comfort zone. I wanted to go somewhere where I didn't know anybody, where I would really be alone and I would really have to figure things out. I couldn't call like, yo, such just happened. Can you help me? No, I was really like solo dolo by myself. I needed to know that I could do that. It's just like a personal thing. So I did.
Basic, have you ever been in a predicament where you felt like you are kind of like in Boujie's situation where you by yourself, you just got to figure it out? Like you're in a journey by yourself where you just got to figure it out.
I think when I moved into my own apartment, now I moved from North Philly to Northeast Philly, but I moved by myself.
But you also got to describe the situation during that time when you moved. That kind of like you made it when you got into Northeast.
Yeah, you
right?
were like,
past the boulevard.
Oh my God, that's a big deal. Yeah.
The boulevard is an extension of the hood.
Yes.
Yeah, but
yes.
back then
it
was a big deal.
Once you pass a certain street, and it's probably gotten like.
And then they say like north of Cotman,
Yeah.
you're on the better end of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was when I moved out by myself, I made it happen by myself. Because once I got the Boy Scout job, corporate, I'm out in 3 months. My mom was like, what do you think you're going to make in 3 months? It took me a little longer. I finally did it. I got my own apartment by myself. I think it was like a 1-bedroom at that time. In Northeast. And it was like, I made it. Like, I lived by myself. Nobody gave me this money. I didn't have to ask for anything. Like, I did this on my own. So that was a big accomplishment.
Man, that's huge, man. So let's talk about leave. So you moved to Atlanta, and then you left corporate entirely to start your own business, right? Let's talk about these next steps because I know all of that is nerve-wracking for some.
Oh my God, yeah.
Think about it, right? The corporate chains are embedded in a lot of our minds where we are so afraid to step out of that. You know, so you're in Atlanta. What happened? You sit down, you're like, do I go to Magic City? Or do I go to whatever that hospital is? Right. What's
Once I got there, I was fine. I was fine up until like Orient. Like I got there maybe 2 or 3 days before I actually had to start work.
Okay.
So once I got there, I was fine. I'm exploring. I'm going to this mall and that mall and just like, let me see what all of like Atlanta's about. Everybody talks about it. Fell in love with it. I was like, I get it. Because I was like, all right, I don't really get why everybody comes to the South. But I got it. I absolutely still to this day love Atlanta. Orientation comes, full-blown panic attack. I was like, I can't do this. What the fuck am I doing? Why did y'all let me do this? Wow. Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I really didn't. But I was like, well, I'm here now. I'm here. My apartment's ready. Like, let's go. Like, there's no turning
go
back.
time, right.
But it was very scary. And I called my cousin at the time. I said, you gotta get a contract out here. I can't do this by myself. Wow. So I was out there for a month before she came, because at the time she was doing ICU travel.
Okay.
So she got a contract in Atlanta and came down and she stayed with me. But for that first month, I was completely alone. Like, we had it was a power outage. It was like a bad storm. It was a power outage. My car was in the garage. I couldn't get the garage door open because we didn't have any power. The lady that I rented from was sleeping, and then she finally woke up. She's like, you got to pull this straight? I said, man, I'm getting an Uber. I got to go to work. Like, I packed my bag. I took a shower at work, did my hair, did everything.
Right.
But it was just like one of those things that I'm like, I don't have nobody to call.
Wow.
I'm by myself. So I was like, but I'm going to figure it out.
Sink or swim.
That's it.
Yeah.
I swam.
Man, yeah, that you did. Backstroke and all.
I did. I'm proud of myself for that. Because I've never really been alone.
That's dope, man. Basic, when you finally left and you decided to start the Glam Studios body sculpting, first of all, what made you go? Well, first of all, I know everybody and their mama, like even grandmas, they all getting their bodies done.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
right?
they are.
Competition is real out
So
there.
so did you realize, like, listen, this is a market?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what made you go out of all areas? Because you like big into fitness.
Mm-hmm.
You're big into a lot. Planning is like huge for you. You could have been a consultant for planning. You want to shape women.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
So this was my sister's idea. She had like the big idea, and this isn't like me speaking out of turn. She'll tell you she got work done and realized that there was this need, because you don't know. Like, if you just go, I'm going to go get work done and that's it. Surgery, bam, mommy makeover. You still need treatments after that. You need massages after that. You need to keep it up. It's like you work out, you lose weight. If you don't keep working out, it's just going to come right back.
Maintenance.
Okay.
So she was like, I'm going to this place to get this work done. Why don't we look into doing the same thing? So I was like, well, let me go check it out. And I got a non-invasive BBL and all that stuff. And I'm like, we could totally do this. Like, we could do this. This is something that you feel good afterwards. It's helping with that self-esteem, right? So it's not just you're eating right, you're working out, you have a positive mindset. If you feel good, right, it's so much better for you. So she started looking into it. I said, if you're serious about it, we could do it. She came up with a business plan, the name.
Oh, wow.
Like, she created our initial logo.
Okay.
I started looking into the space. We went and did a training. We have a business consultant. We have a social media team. And that was just us. Like, now we're starting to progress and be able to like pay out these things and have these services done. And it's scary, because it's just you, right? You don't know when your next client is coming in unless you have them booked for a package. You don't know who's going to come in and see you or be interested in you. You don't know where that next paycheck is really coming from. Whereas corporate, like, that's easy. That's the fat cow coming in every 2 weeks. Like, it's
Steady
happening.
check.
And that's how they keep you on the plantation.
That is correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, you're sculpting bodies, right? Has there been a body that you didn't want to sculpt?
An unsculpable.
Unsculpable. Out here looking like a bag of groceries. Where you was like, this going to give me some. or you're not allowed to say.
I'm not allowed to say.
Okay, customer confidentiality out here.
There hasn't been, because I'm sorry if I sound cliche, but this is the truth of it. Like, everybody is beautiful. Like,
they all look the same now.
We
Everybody.
get on to something with
We're
that.
working on that. Everyone has their self-imposed flaws. Like, I have a flaw. You don't see that flaw though. That's me.
Right.
Like, we're our own worst critics. So they all come in. I need my stomach and my arms and my legs and butt. And I'm like, when they like strip down to like the underwear, I'm like, girl, you got curves. Like, you please don't think that you don't have a good body. I know you want to work on it, and that's what we're gonna help you do. But like, I haven't had one person that I'm like, this ain't gonna work.
So what does that entail? Okay, so they come in, because I'm saying this because I want to know, right? You go into your facility, right? And you're basically, are the women pointing out their flaws and what they need to work on? And how are you is it like clay? Like, what is it doing? Like, how's the body work?
We have machines that they're like a vacuum, so it's not sucking it out where you could see it come through the tube, but it's like moving the fat towards your lymphatic system to your lymph nodes so your lymphatic system can get rid of it. So you can come and get your butt done and like sculpt your
That's really
waist.
cool.
So they can get their butt done at your facility?
Yes, you can get your butt done.
I thought you were the Jiffy Lube of it, like maintenance, like providing the maintenance of it.
It's no surgery.
Oh wow!
You can get your butt done with us, and you
I
could
didn't
go.
know that.
You could come on your lunch break, and then go right back to work afterwards.
Now, is there a process where now do they see the results right there and then, or is it something where they got to grow into it?
Most of them do.
I've gotten services. My stomach was flat. Okay, I was like, don't talk to me today, honey, because I was snatched. And she was like, oh my God, like your stomach is fine, like yes, hips. So just go book the appointment because she's gonna make you feel good anyway. But it's instant. Like I felt great after. I was like,
permanent results come with consistency, just like with everything else.
Yeah, it's like going to the gym. I mean, see, a lot of people, I think we live in a society right now where it's instant gratification. And I think it's because social media has made it that way where you're posting up just to get those likes, right? And so like you go to your facility, it's like, yo, I gotta get, like my body has to be done. Nobody wants to put in the work and the effort to get it done anymore. I mean, sometimes it's genetics. Like some people ain't got a butt, so you gotta grow one. Like some people like you just got crack, right?
That's it. Long
back. A long
back.
Spinal cord goes all the way down to the ankles. You hear me? So that's dope. I didn't know that. How do you like it? Like, is it something that you like?
It's fun.
Okay.
Yes, we still enjoy it. There's not a lot of times where me and my sister are there together.
Okay.
But we can take our own clients at any time. And it's still fun. Like I still look forward to it. I enjoy like the after pictures and giving them like their before and after shot. And some of them see it immediately. Some of them see it in a couple visits. So it's still a lot of fun. It's still brand new, and I know it's gonna grow because the health and wellness industry is like top tier. Yes. What's like growing?
Self-care.
I
Self-care is huge.
I got an idea for you, right? You can take it, put it in your pocket, save it till 5 years, 10 years from now. So like you go into Best Buy. Well, I don't know if people even go into stores anymore, but you go into Best Buy and then you got like this brand Geek Squad, right? They right there, right? But it's kind of like a partnership. Why don't y'all put the Glam Studios franchise in gym locations? So now you get your massage therapy, you get your suntan, you go over there into the little movie theater and do the cycling, and then you go to Glam, and get your butt and everything done. Now it's full service.
Move that fat
Now it's
around.
kind of like you put that in your pocket. Yeah. Let's go over
That's
there
not
together.
a bad idea.
It's not. I just thought about it.
I just
thought about it. Now with you, IV, right?
Yes.
The IV drips, right? It's something. I remember my father talking about this maybe a few years ago, right?
Okay.
I said, "Where you going?" He said, "I'm just going getting some vitamins into my system." I said, "You got vitamins in the cabinet? Like, what are you doing?" He was like, "No, I'm actually getting drips done." I'm
Good
like,
for you,
"Well,
Dad.
how does that work?" Yeah, I'm telling you, my pops real
Dad.
big on that, right? So, what made you want to go into that element of it?
So I call it happy nursing. Siobhan and I both call it happy nursing, and that's what I was searching for at the time because I knew I was done with bedside. I'm like, okay, a pandemic kicked my ass. I'm done. I'm good. I took an admin job as like a director of nursing somewhere, and I hated that. So it's just like I will not be a nurse if I have to be at the bedside and deal with the bullshit.
Right.
So I was literally just searching for like happy nursing. So I'm looking at aesthetics. I'm looking at IV hydration. I'm looking at all those elements. And of course, I have things coming this year as far as aesthetics. But with IV hydration, we had interviewed someone on a nurse on our podcast that was partnered with someone that was doing that business. And I start searching. I go on Instagram and I find her page and I slid in her DM. And I was just like, hey, I see what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I'm all about this. This is my background. If you're looking for a nurse, send me your email. I'll send you my resume. And just like that, it happened. She was like, oh, absolutely. I am actually in need of a nurse. Here's the email address. Sent her my resume. Probably interviewed me 2 days later. And I was like, I'm ready when you are. Like, let's go.
Love that.
That's awesome.
I love
the
that.
worst thing she could do is ignore me or say no. But at least I tried.
I love that, right? And the reason why I love that is you got a lot of people, and again, I'm putting it out there, and I'm even going to include myself in that sometimes, the whole procrastination, right? You got all these ideas, all these dreams, you got all these goals, you want to do them, but then you're living in your head majority of the time, and you never go out, right? What gives you the fire to be like, you know what? I think I want to do IV. I think I want to change lanes real quick. Go do that. Do something I'm happy about. And then you just maneuver like nothing.
I don't know. I've always been that way. I don't know. I just do it. Like, I know. I was reflecting the other day. I'm like, I know my social media probably look crazy. Like, what is she doing? She's a nurse. She's a notary. She makes shirts. She make cups. She do IV drip. She got a podcast. Yes, because you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Like, I think something clicked with me where I was like, stop. First of all, I feel like you should stop asking kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because that puts them in a box.
There you go.
That makes them feel like they can only be one thing. You can do
go.
whatever you want. How am I supposed to get 7 streams of income if I'm only doing one thing?
So
I need
Say it again.
That makes so much
like,
sense.
how am I gonna get 7 streams of income if I'm only doing one thing?
Yeah, that celebrity that you're looking up to, they're not just acting.
No,
they're doing all
doing
these other
all
things.
these other
They
things.
started these brand deals.
Right.
Why can't we? Why do we have to just work on one thing at a time, one paycheck, and that's it?
You're like, I'm not a niche. I'm a person, and I like different things. So I'm gonna do different things. And if it looks crazy, it looks crazy. But the people that get me, they come to me, and I don't worry about the rest.
Yep.
And I don't really worry about what it looks like either.
Right.
Because I know what I'm doing.
So this person is obviously not politically correct, right? They've said some things that are just like, offends a lot of people. But the core of it is imagination, right? What you said was the whole purpose of, not asking people what they want to be, because that kind of puts you in the niche. Allow them to be whatever they want,
Absolutely.
right? To me, Kanye West or Ye is kind of like that person, right? When you watch that documentary that he put out, I thought it was a dope documentary. It just shows you that, he crazy, but he just really not that crazy.
Right.
I mean, I don't know about today. But as far as the concept of being whatever he wanted to be and then going in those lanes and doing it. And if you hear and if you go back to those old videos, everybody criticized everything he decided he wanted to do. Which they probably was doing that to you too.
Absolutely. Like, what
is she
Girl,
doing
just go
now?
to the hospital
Girl,
and
go
work.
make me a
Just
cup.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh, there was all types of things being said, but it didn't stop. It like 1 monkey, 2 monkey, 3 monkeys don't stop no show. I'ma always do what I want to do.
So you put an IV in somebody I really admired, man, Wallow 267. How was that experience?
It was a good experience.
Well, first of all, how did you connect to him? I mean, connect with him.
So it was actually, Siobhan is the business owner of Elite Infusion IV Hydration, and she is big on manifesting. Like, she literally manifested the business. Before we got to Ardmore, we were just doing concierge service. And everything this woman told me about how the lounge was going to look is exactly what it looks like.
Wow.
Like, she has a manifestation business as well. And that was one of the people that just like we have people we want to interview, that's one of the people that she was like, I'm going to do a drip. Like, we're going to do a drip on him, and it's just going to happen. So she slid in his DM, and it was just kind of like a back and forth a little bit. He's a busy man.
Right.
After the BET Awards, he needed the drip. And he reached out to us, and we went to him, and the rest was history. But it was a good experience. It was nice.
So while you were infusing him with love,
Yes.
right? Did you pick up anything? Was he giving y'all game? Like, was he talking, or was he just regular? He was just in his zone.
We try to let people just kind of like have their, like, this is your time, especially like if you come to the lounge, like we call it like Netflix and drip. You can watch TV, you can unplug from the world. That's your time to just be left alone.
Right.
And we respected his time and let him have his time to be like left alone. Of course, his phone rang 50 million times because he's a busy man.
Yeah.
But I mean, he gave us some game like that. Just talk to us like he talks to everybody else. Like, what you see is what you get.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Let's turn the curve real quick. First of all, I'm proud of y'all, man. Y'all
Thank you.
killing it. North Philly's own, and we out here doing our thing. You know, not only doing the podcasting, we doing cups. We giving people the bodies that they. Look, can we go back to the bodies real quick?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the bodies real quick, just one time, right? Do you think some people just overdo it?
With like surgery?
With just like, okay, this is my thing, right? This is just me, right? If it looks natural, I'm happy with it. But when you got a different face now and a different everything now, like in my head, I'm thinking like when you have a kid and it's a girl, is it gonna look like who you are now, or is it gonna look like?
It's gonna look like the
before,
genetics,
right?
Before. That's your before picture.
Yeah, because you never know. You might have changed DNA for him or something, right?
The way we going.
Right.
You think some people just overdo it?
I mean, there are so apparently you can get addicted to all that, right? They say like it's addictive. So just like the surgery is addictive, gambling, all this stuff. I think body sculpting gets addicting because you see the result and it makes you feel good. You get that like dopamine,
dopamine.
whatever. So yes, it can get addictive.
Does it go away after a while, or does it stay there as long as you continue to maintain it?
So 6 to 8 treatments are permanent results.
Oh,
So
wow.
you need to come at least 6 to 8 times. You could
Okay.
see results immediately. Like I can sculpt your waist, and you will see it as you walk out the door. You got it.
You will, because you can't tell me nothing that
Yeah.
day.
She was snatched.
I went home and put a crop top on.
But okay, like case in point, right? Sometimes, like when a person gets their butt done, it don't match the legs. Can you match them with the legs? Like, can you give them the total package?
Yeah, because we're not
it's a butt and leg
putting anything
package.
in you.
Oh,
We're
okay, you
working
just
with
move.
what
So
you
you're, like,
have.
distributing.
Got you. Okay, I see
We're
what you're saying.
redistributing what you already have.
That's a
Got
good
you.
question, too. Yeah, she can fix that butt to thigh ratio.
We
Yeah,
can work
but-
on that.
Yeah, because you look now your legs now you look like a lollipop. The legs
Oh,
are and then you got the
Yep.
lump at the top.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, y'all
Like
here
an
looking
ant.
like a lollipop. How many licks
Like
does
an
it
ant.
take
Like
to
an
get
ant.
Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? All right, let's change subjects real quick. Let's talk about relationships, y'all.
Let's do it.
Now, obviously, yours is gonna be a little biased because you got, you got your man, and
But,
but
you know,
he
I
does
he's in
what
the
he
room.
do.
Right. I'm like, I keep it real regardless, though.
Listen, so relationships, right? It's been getting
They hard, but go ahead.
yeah. Relationships have received a lot of negative connotation lately because I feel like, with social media, it's putting the perspectives out of like real masculine women and then real feminine men. Like the
Right.
roles have been reversed for some strange reason,
Yeah.
right? And then also, there's no such thing as monogamy anymore. You can do whatever you want. You can have your side. And then it's gotten to the point where everybody's comfortable with that now. Like, okay, yeah, he got his side chick or whatever. I'm cool with that as long as she don't come into my space. It's
Right.
that type of thing. It's weird.
It's very
What y'all think
weird.
about that?
It's not for me. I'm gonna say I'm old school in that sense.
Okay.
And I recently had a situation where somebody a married man slid into my DM, somebody
Wow.
that I used to go to school with.
Yep.
And it was one of those, oh, I always loved you.
Despite the fact despite the fact he saw Roy, that's what I'm saying.
Because he was like, he knew about my previous situation, like they
Right.
all knew him, and he was like, oh, well, you with somebody now, though? Where I said, yeah, I'm in a full-blown relationship. And you're married, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, but she not really this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, so you should just end your relationship or have that conversation with her, do
Facts.
some. And now I'm helping him. Now I'm like, you should look into marriage counseling. No, that's not what he wanted. He wanted a side piece.
Yep.
That's not me.
Mhm.
I can't, like, you barking up you went into the wrong DM. Like, I'm not, because I still believe in karma. One day I would hope to be married, and I would hope that another woman would have that type of respect for me, and that my husband wouldn't be doing that.
Right.
Like, that's not, but it's very much normal, and I've been seeing it a lot lately, especially from married men.
Well, it's made it so convenient. Like, think about it. We live in a society where everything can be a secret now. I
Absolutely.
mean, iPhone has just now changed it to where now you can hide photos. Like, think
Vanishing
about everything.
everything.
Vanishing,
Everything.
conversations, everything. So they've kind of nurtured that culture,
Yeah.
right? So now you're fighting up against that. Roy, I know you off camera right now, okay?
But he's always
What
here.
How did you feel when you felt as though like these dudes be sliding in your girl DMs? Like, how do you feel? Because you're a pretty big guy, man.
I think he even came with it.
Trust her, I don't worry about it a lot.
I love
But
that.
it also happens a lot.
Yep.
So it's just something I gotta get used to.
And I tell him,
There you go.
I'm like, these motherfuckers.
I
tell
like
him.
I like what you said.
Yeah,
I
I
like
tell
what you
him.
said, and I like what you said. He got that trust factor in you that you ain't gonna slip up and act stupid, and then you also, and that which builds on your trust because now she's, she tells you like, listen, this fool gonna go and slide in my DM. He married and everything. He a fool, right?
We laugh at y'all. Just want you to know, we laugh at y'all together.
Y'all don't realize it, man.
Like,
It's the truth though.
No,
And
it
what,
is.
What about you? Like, you with Kyle. Have you had circumstances where people have tried to take you off your square, so to speak, in the relationship?
I mean, I feel like they're bots that message me. I don't really think
Not the
Well,
bots.
Elon's trying to solve all of that.
Not the
for
bots.
the bots, asking me to be they could be my sugar daddy.
Oh, yeah.
you. Is it the same older Caucasian gentleman with the white hair?
I've had one of
Yeah,
them.
he slid into
Yeah.
my
There's
woman's
a couple.
DM too.
There's a couple out there.
I've had a couple of them, and I'm just like, and I tell them about it because I mean, even if it's not a bot or whatever, no, like that's just who feels good after that. I mean, I'm sure in the
Yeah.
moment it's great, you get a adrenaline rush and you get a high from that, but nah, it's not long term. Not when you're trying to build with somebody.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Sometimes we could take ourselves off our square going after those short-term situations because you want to, like, think about it, right? You've been in your relationship for over a year now? Yeah, over a year. You've been in your relationship for like, what, 4 or 5 years already? 6?
What year is it? Sometimes 8 years.
Wow, that long?
I can't believe I was about to. I was thinking 5, but okay.
No, I'm thinking 5, 8. So so you've been in a relationship for 8. I've been with Queen for, we about to be 4 years this year, y'all.
Oh,
That went by fast.
it
Yeah.
did go by fast.
It really did.
That went by fast, but like people gonna throw their shots at y'all,
Of
right?
course.
People gonna throw their shots at me. They're gonna throw their shots at Queen to try to take us off our square. And the thing is, it may have like a little effect, on us in the very beginning because you like, yo, like where can this possibly go
Right.
with it? But then y'all we don't realize that it's a game. Because in the very beginning, like me and Queen, when we first got together, butterflies was all there. Butterflies is still there, but ain't nothing like the butterflies in the very beginning. When you looking for, you
Right.
looking for,
like the rest of the world don't even matter.
Right. We talking till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Meanwhile, we can't stay up till past 8 o'clock now.
Yeah.
We all knocked out, right? What do y'all think about? What do y'all think about in the relationship checking each other's phones? Yay or nay?
I don't check his phone.
Okay.
I don't check his phone, but I also
Okay.
I'm like, but he also he knows that the password is to mine if he needed to get in. Like there's
Right.
that whole like if you're looking you're gonna find it. That's bullshit because what are you doing to me for me to be finding anything?
go.
Like that's I don't know who that was made up by, but that's bullshit.
Yeah. Right.
I know that he was giving me the password to his phone, but I don't even remember it. Like that's how I know I'm a changed woman because
you go.
before I would have put that shit in
been
my
right up in
notes
it,
somewhere.
yeah.
Like no, I'm just like no, I don't check it, but sometimes I'll be like, what's on our phone? What's on our feed?
What's on our
like,
feed?
but it's not to that point where I'm like really checking this phone. I don't think I've never checked your phone. Ew, I trust you.
She said.
That's dope.
I have never checked this phone. No, but I do want to say I feel like dating in your mid 30s, early 40s is harder because people have a life. There was a life before you. When you
Yes.
dating somebody in high school or fresh out of like that you're their whole world. You know everything.
Yep.
But when you starting fresh in your 30s and 40s, it's like you had a life before me, and I just gotta trust that everything you're telling me is correct.
Right.
And then you have outside factors coming in, and then it's like, well, is what you're telling me real, or is what that person's telling me real? Like dating in your 30s, 40s, that ain't for the weak.
No, that's true.
That ain't for the weak.
Sometimes
They had a
you-
whole life. I had a whole life before him. He had several lives before me. But that's where the trust comes in. Like
Got
that.
you.
Like if you don't got trust, you don't got nothing.
You have
No, it
nothing.
makes sense. It definitely makes sense. What about you?
I don't check
Basic?
Kyle's phone because he got an Android. So
Ooh, I don't even know how to work that.
that.
Oh, that's how you get away with it. Different device.
Like,
You
I
got
don't
them
even know
green
what he
text
got.
messages coming through. Be like,
I can't.
I don't even
Whole
want to look
chat.
at this.
I don't know every tune. I can't read this shit.
Why he don't switch the iPhone?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is he like
But
anti-Apple or
I
something?
think he's a little anti-Apple.
Okay.
Okay.
But like I have the password or like whatever thing you got to swipe around to open up his phone. He knows mine. There's no need.
I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm gonna be honest, right? No, so with me and Queen, we don't check each other's phone either, right? But it's funny because so betrayal has been real big with me throughout my life, like with people, period, right?
Yeah.
So I have trust issues.
Oh, I got major.
Yeah, I got trust issues with her. She's made it so easy to where I'm like, yo, I really can trust you. Like she's so dope in that aspect.
And that's the difference.
That's
The
what it
right
is.
issues like stopped.
Right.
They do.
Right,
Yeah, they
right.
stop. But they start to trickle in sometimes
yeah,
because of
yeah.
imperfections. Now, I'm going to tell
Right.
you why. I'm talking to her one time, and she said, babe, you know I don't check your phone. I already know. We good. We solid. I don't check your phone. In my head, I'm like, yeah, you don't check my phone because you don't want me to check yours.
That's that. Yeah.
Now I start playing with it, right?
Defaulted.
Now I'm like, you trying to
Right.
reverse psychology. I see it,
You trying to
whatever.
outsmart me.
You trying to outsmart me, but I peep game, baby. Now I'm thinking about it at night. I'm like, yo, she really trying to game me right now. Then I gotta really
Like, why did we interpret it that way? Why wasn't it
We
just
knew.
exactly what she said?
exactly what she said. And she could be so convincing about it. She could be really genuine, right? But in my head, I'm like, no, you trying to do
Because
something.
of your past, because of your life.
Yeah, because of past life. But it's hilarious
That's
how
funny.
sometimes you second guess it. But no, like she's never given me any inclination about, you know,
Mm-hmm.
anything, which I love. But it's all about choosing the right person for you. How did you know Roy was the right one for you? especially after your past relationship.
I know.
And things of that sort.
Well, I knew Roy before. Like, we worked together when I was like 14, 15. We worked at the market together. And we remained, like, surface level friends throughout the year. Like, I knew he's big in tech. I love technology. A new iPhone drop, whatever. Be like, oh, yo, you just saw a new phone. Quick, like, maybe talk once or twice a year. Okay. And then it just kind of happened. And honestly, I tell people this all the time because they're like, well, so people ask me like, oh, you know, you got out of that relationship and then you got, you know, you had your time and you got into another one. Where'd you find him? I'm like, if it wasn't him, I would probably be single because the dating pool is trash.
Oh, it's terrible.
Like, all the guys that I was like talking to here and there, where I was like openly dating, they still single, they still doing the same thing. But like, I was like, this is how y'all date when you coming over. You better take me on a proper date. Like,
no, they don't do that. They want to go straight
to be courted. Like,
again, it's instant gratification.
Yeah.
They just want to get to the yams and that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would still be single if it wasn't for Roy.
No, I agree. I think I would still be single too.
Yeah.
In fact, I ain't want a relationship in the beginning. When I was talking to Queen, Roy's shaking his head too, right?
Yeah, that's not what we were looking for.
You don't look organically, bro. That's how you know it's real.
Yeah,
when
we were not looking for that.
Yep, because my thing is, in the very beginning, once I got out of my situation, once I got out of divorce, I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. This is exhausting.
You just want to have fun.
I just want to have fun. You know what? I'm going to relive my 20s because I ain't really have it, right? So now I'm out there. A year and a half, 2 years, and all of a sudden Queen come back into my life, you know, through a wedding or what have you, and we start talking, and she wants to go to the next step, and I'm like, I don't know about it, you know, I don't know. I mean, I really like you, and I think we moving into the love situation, but it's, you know, I was scared.
Yeah,
I didn't want that label being attached to me because now I'm like, okay. Now I gotta act accordingly. I gotta do this, do that, but it organically.
Yeah,
it just
and you were
works.
probably already doing that, but it's something about like making that title, that
right.
label. It's like, okay, I gotta act right. Like I'm already acting right, but now I'm held to a higher standard.
Absolutely, there you go. How did you know Kyle was the one? First of all, y'all dress alike during holidays. Okay, that's how I know y'all
the matching
one.
outfit couple.
We didn't do it this year. I'm very depressed about it. I've had to come to terms with it. It just happened. Like we were having fun. We were just enjoying each other's company. Leave it at that. And then it just happened. Like then there came a point where I think we went down to like Atlantic City together, and I met his mom. And I was like, all right, what's happening here? Like, what are we doing?
Got you.
And then it turned into a relationship from there. Like I moved out of by that time I moved to another apartment, bought a house in South Jersey, and like we just made it happen. And it's been like just us ever since. Man,
that's dope, man. That's dope. Do you feel like the relationships that you're each in, and again, you might be biased because you got Roy right here, right? For like Suge Knight out here. But do you feel like it completes you? It actually adds on to you to want to aspire to do more? Or do you feel like, you know, I mean, we've all been in relationships where it takes away, kind of takes away from us, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we are both in relationships where they're allowing us to be this like newer, upgraded version of ourselves.
Absolutely.
I think previous relationships we would have been like told, what are you doing?
Right.
Why are you doing that? You're doing too much. This is like, I'm sure when you tell Roy, like, I have this idea, he's going to tell you that's amazing or tell you, how about this, right? Kyle does the same. Like, I love that idea. When like our samples come in, when things come in, like they get excited for us.
Yes.
And that's exactly, I think, we probably didn't even know we were missing in previous relationships. And it's
I think
like
it takes
perfect.
a special kind of man or woman to be with an entrepreneur.
Right.
To be with somebody like all three of us that are like he says, my tabs are always open, like in my brain, because I'm always like, oh, we could do this, oh, we could do this, we could do this. I need 7 days in a week is not enough. I need like 9 days. I need 30 hours a day. Like I need more so I can do more.
Yep.
Like he adds to my life because he has his own thing. So now I'm always trying to incorporate like, all right, well, what can we do with your photography business? How can we scale that? How can we grow that and incorporate that with the things that I'm doing?
He's also creative as well.
Absolutely,
which is the reason
like
why.
we're both creative. Like it works.
I love that. All right, you guys. So based off of your experience, right? Or better yet, should I say, based off of your knowledge of, you know, what other people have said, relationship-wise, whatever, what do you think is is a good, healthy dose of intimacy within a relationship? Because I know you had a guest on. She was a sex therapist.
She's a marriage
marriage
counselor or
Okay.
marriage therapist and a
Relationship counselor, sex therapist. Yes.
So she's
Okay.
done the work. She's done.
What's
the
a healthy
research.
dose? What's the average?
Once a week
Once a week it was average.
is the average for a couple.
Studies show
for
that
like a living together couple.
That's a lot.
Once a week.
No, I'm just saying, based off of what I hear.
no.
I feel
Because
like
I'm hearing once a month.
I feel like there should be more.
Okay.
Right, and I was gonna say I think there's goals and then there's reality.
Well, there should be a sample size because now we got to look at intimacy in a relationship with people living together that don't have kids versus having kids.
Right.
Because now you exploring it. So did they ever do that with regards to having
but
kids
that's a
versus
good
not
question.
having kids?
That's a good
'Cause
question.
kids
I
are
think
weird.
we asked her that. We may have even asked her that.
Think about it. Kids
Probably
can wear
less.
you out. Kids can wear you out. There was a scene I was cracking up yesterday. It was a meme. Chris Farley in The Black Sheep. He had his hair all disheveled and he's walking away. And they said, "This is what happens when you dealt with your kids all day. You know, so you're tired, right?" Me and Queen, we go to like she be knocked out before me, but as soon as we put the TV on,
That's
we done.
it.
That's it. It's a
Time for
wrap.
bed.
I know with her, you got to get your intimacy in before 7 o'clock.
You
That's
gotta know
very-
I was gonna say you gotta know your partner. Like,
Yeah,
are
you
you
gotta
a
know-
morning person or you a night person?
before 7 p.m. You gotta make a move quick. You gotta go in for the kill quick.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now, do y'all put like limitations to it with regards to like, okay, yeah, we about to get intimate. Let me go to the shower real quick. Or have y'all heard? Let me go to the shower first. Let me do this. Let me do that. The next thing you know, you're throwing it all off. What do y'all think about that?
Oh no, if I'm ready, I'm ready.
It's
Okay.
about to go down.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
got time.
It's
Yeah,
about-
like it's about to go down. Yeah, absolutely.
Who started it? Then somebody got finished.
Right.
So obviously everybody has social media now. Everybody's online. They looking at I forgot who said it. I don't know if it was Cardi B or someone. Someone said it to where they was like, no, I think it was Boosie, Lil Boosie. They said back in the I don't know if it was him. They said back in the day when you went, you know, the people in your sphere of influence was either at work or you go home. You only saw, if you seen an attractive guy at work, that's one guy.
Yep.
Right? Then as you're driving, you may see somebody attractive, you know, whatever, and then you go home and then you with your man. Now it's opened it up to where everybody that you would consider attractive is all on social media and you have access
A bunch
to
of thirst
everyone.
traps.
Yeah.
Thirst trash, right? What do y'all think about that? Especially from the male's perspective too, right? Because Kyle, he got Android, so do they even have Instagram on there? You do? Okay, he got Instagram.
Yes.
You guys.
Hey Kyle, man, you're gonna have to bite that apple, brother. You're gonna have to bite the apple. But what do y'all think about, you know, your men being exposed to all of these women? Everybody that you're catering to. Everybody got BBLs now. What do you think about that?
I mean, I feel like that's just the reality. So you gotta you just gotta change with the times. Like, you see that he got access to beautiful women 24/7. You walking around in a holy t-shirt, like, tighten up.
Step it up, yeah.
Tighten up.
At
Not
the
to
same
say that
time-
I'm not sometimes looking absolutely fucking crazy, but I tried to put the effort in of like, all right, let me have a nice little, you know, nightgown, whatever, a little peekaboo something, like keep it
Right.
spicy.
Yeah.
Keep it
yeah.
spicy at home.
And the reverse, because like we have access to like all types of muscle men, like just showing up all tatted, like
Right.
everywhere. Same goes for the guy.
Yeah, I'm in the gym and I'm trying to work out. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'll be seeing these dudes. I'll be like, man, these bulls, man, they built, man. I said, you know, I gotta go right to. And then I look at, you know, and then I look at Queen. I'm like, Queen probably looking at me like, this bull, man. he just- So I'm like, all
It's
right,
like
I gotta start
scrolling,
working
then you
out.
look
I gotta-
up and you
yeah.
scroll.
Like, let me not show her
Right.
this video. Let me not send this over there. Let's swipe
I'm
up
not
real
gonna
quick.
like this.
Right. So yeah, I
You gotta
mean,
put the effort in. Relationships are work, and you gotta put the effort in.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I was watching the other day, but it made a lot of sense, especially in regards to couples that live together. When you're dating, if I see you 3-4 times, let's say 2 to 3 times out of that week, we're probably gonna have sex.
right.
But you're not having sex 2 or 3 times a week because I see you every single day. So it's no longer a date. It's you're part of the everyday, day-to-day life.
That's so true.
So you have to put once you're living together,
Yep.
you have to put the work in or that shit is going to die.
That's so
That's
true.
just what it is.
Yeah, you definitely gotta. I remember people used to frown upon scheduling it in.
No,
your
I'm
calendar.
I used to be one of those people. No, now I need in my mind I'm like, all right, Wednesday's the day. Like,
Hump
like
day
I'm
is
looking
really
at
hump day.
right. I'm looking at my schedule. Like, all right, I'm gonna squeeze that in right in there because we're busy. That's the reality.
Now, do y'all spice it up before y'all meet up? Like, listen, it's Wednesday. Okay. Well, I can't wait. You said
he might send me. We might send each other some invisible ink if you know, you know.
Right.
But yeah, and I feel like that's a throughout the day thing. If you're not together and
Mm-hmm.
you can't like really just that little touch, and then you still have technology.
Yep.
Instead of looking at other women, send something to your woman, and send something to your man.
Yeah.
Like,
Which, please, if you are together, like that little touch, that little I love you, that
those does still
smack her
count.
butt.
Yeah.
You have to
Don't you
keep
dare
doing
walk
those
by
things.
me in the kitchen and I smack my ass. What's wrong with
Hello?
you? It's like, you mad at me? What happened?
You better take that
Like,
pan. What's wrong with you?
exactly.
Yep.
Like, you gotta keep
You
it
have to.
spicy.
Yeah.
Because if not, then what's the difference between that and being a roommate?
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. I heard it best. Someone said that, they were in a relationship and they were like, you just want a companion. That's it. That's all you want. You feel like the world just wants companionship? Like,
I think
because
so.
you hear a lot, especially from females, they either too tired. There's a lot going on. And I get it. Everybody's working. During the pandemic, the reason why there was such a baby boom, because people that was an activity now. It's like, cool, we got something to look forward to.
Right.
We ain't doing nothing all day. Now everybody got work. They got extracurricular activities. Now intimacy is now on the back burner. What y'all think about that?
You prioritize what you want. Like,
Yes.
that's with anything in life. Again, I'm going to just be the cliche girl. Like, you prioritize the things that you want. So if you want to have more intimacy, you want to have that companionship, you want to, whatever it is, like, you got to you can't manifest it and it just shows up. Like, you got to work at it.
Right.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Well, listen, I loved y'all on the show today.
We left it.
Basic
being
and
here.
Boujie, they out here doing their thing. The reason why we cutting this short because I have a lot to talk about is because we on a time crunch, y'all. So
PPA don't play.
In the PPA,
I already got my ticket. I'm gonna let you know this right now. I
Here for
know
the
I already
day.
got my ticket. Okay. How can people connect with y'all? Social media.
So many ways. I'm like, so
Okay.
many ways. I'm like, so you can connect with us on the Basic and Boujie podcast page. Our personal pages are on there as well. Mine's is _Melanie Z, and then
Jocelyn_Diaz, but it looks like Yasleen_Diaz. Yeah.
Okay, and then Basic and Boujie podcast that comes on every week.
So that's every other Monday. Right now
Okay.
we're on a break because we're getting ready for season 3. But once we come back, we'll be every other Monday, and you'll be our first episode.
There we go. We're gonna make this thing happen, baby. Listen, I got the Eagles hat on for a reason, y'all. This is probably going to be posted maybe after the fact, after we win.
After they win the Super Bowl.
We just hope it ages well.
Yes.
We just hope it ages well. But for the time being, I'm gonna say go Birds,
Go
and we're gonna
Birds.
Go
kill
Birds.
the game, y'all.
Yes.
We got planes to catch. We ain't got time for the nonsense.
That's it.
Yep.
Here we go.